Hey, my beauties. Good afternoon to you, beautiful people. So, beautiful people, I was looking at their post where the Prime Minister et al. They were talking about the heinous act, that crime that was committed in Cherry Lane in Clarendon. You know the name of the place that I'm talking. Somebody says it's actually a sort of volatile area. I don't know. I don't know if what I was told is even correct. And condolences are certainly extended to the family who are left behind, the loved ones of the 8 or 11 people who I heard have died, of the 17 that were shot, in that area. What puzzles me a little bit, though, my beauties, is that crime and violence have been an ongoing issue here in our country. It is not new to us. It's just that when you hear of massacre killings in one sweep, it becomes very disturbing for the moment. But they always talk about the 9-day wonder, 9-day talk here in Jamaica. It's not like, for example, in the United States of America with a George Floyd or a Sonia Massey, and the others, where they don't stop, they make it run. It's not 9 days. It continues for a good time until justice is served, for breakfast, for lunch, for dinner, and even for supper. They don't give up on these heinous acts, and they move. They're strident in seeing a change happen and to mitigate any further thing happening in similar. Here in Jamaica, we just cry and whatnot, and then you hear of a man who was associated with it that was either locked up or killed during a shooting. The concern that I have is the fact that with the reality that is, it sounds bad to say, almost crime-riddled country, violent-riddled country, aggressive-riddled country. How is it that $25 million is offered to them? When I was listening to the Jamaica Civil Service Association president, who before this crime took place, this heinous act took place, cannot get monies, to satisfy what they have been promulgating and asking for, and told that there is no money in the kitty to give them for the different proposals that they have given in terms of passenger mileage reinstatement, in terms of overtime pay reinstatement, in terms of retroactive money being given, in terms of when the mileage had increased in 2022 as at April 1, the payment on those increments and other monies that are owed to them. Remember, the budget was read in March 2024. This killing took place just a few days ago, right? So we would have thought that in that $1 trillion or $3 trillion budget, I think it was one, whatever the amount is, it's in the trillions, that the public sector workers, which would include the civil servants, would have been budgeted for. That this woman should not be having a long conversation where they say they're rested, meaning they're not going to stay silent or be still because of their dissatisfaction of this injustice, of this unfairness, and was told that there is no money in the kitty. So where would they have found $25 million if people had word on the killer or killers, as the case may be? Where would they get $25 million to give one person? $25 million? That means as a contributor to the society, a law-abiding citizen, somebody who is working to develop this country, can I come and ask for that $25 million? Because I could surely find some good use that could help and possibly start the seed where we reduce violence and criminal activities in this country. So I am very much puzzled as to how it is that after the fact, remember, budget was read, that should have included the Jamaica Civil Service Association from March, and you would have prepared from the year before, years prior. Because remember, the government, they get money left, right, and center. They're almost neck and neck with the private sector in terms of getting money. Because if it is not through loans, it is through aids, it is through grants, through payments in terms of in terms of traffic tickets. If you breach this here, that you have to pay money. Any little thing that you have to do now using the government services, you have to pay for it. And we are put in a situation where it's like your utilities, you have to do this particular thing or do that particular thing, unless you're going to be living like a chair in your house. And even then the chair has to be dusted and cleaned. If it's a chair that requires paint, then it has to be painted. You understand what I'm saying to you? So how is it that you people would have found $25 million to give, let us say, one person, or two people, three, let's say, it depends on the number. But a caller calls in and can give you information. And you would find the $25 million, you might say you're going to pay them in tranches. Why didn't you do that with the Jamaica Civil Service Association then? Why not take that $25 million to pay the people so that they can live? Because, although there's no cause and effect as it relates to crime and violence, because it has to do with just who you are. Bad parenting, the things that people are exposed to, demons, compound. All of these factors compound. Bad influence. All of these factors compound. And maybe mental and psychological and emotional trauma. So all of that in the mix that causes people to do these things. Big contributing factors that I just mentioned. And the number one, bad parenting, improper parenting, no parenting. Being lawless, being godless. Being exposed to things that you should not be. Not having the right influences, because the Bible says bad company spoils good morals. So can you imagine if you don't even have good morals and you're around bad company? What kind of human being? If you spare the rod, you will spoil the child and raise monsters. So we know all of these things. Mental illness, psychological illness, emotional illness, all of these things. But we know that when people don't have money and they have to be struggling, after a while, they become like bounty hunters. They say, to heck with everything. I'm going to find a way through the hook or the crook to make money. So there is some level of correlation, and I'm not saying there is a cause and effect. But it tells a story that when a country is suffering in terms of poverty or struggling financially, crime and violence both are high. They're at an all high. Check countries that you find like that. They're at an all high. Unless they're suffering to the point where they become malnourished and weak and can't do anything. But once they are able-bodied, you're going to find the crime and violence to be high. Do you see the problem that I have? And many Jamaicans have? And obviously, for the most part, most people wouldn't mind if crime and violence could be eradicated. Of course. We're tired of feeling that we have gotten used to it. We're tired of being able to, anybody can become a news anchor, meaning we can read the news without having to get any information, because more than likely what we're going to be saying will be almost accurate. Maybe we may be off a little bit. More than likely you're going to say 2 people were shot, 1 died. 3 people were shot, 1 died. You just probably add or decrease the number. Each day we read the news. We can read the news without having to get any information, because our subliminal minds just knows. Mind just know what it is that is taking place in the country, because not everything is reported. Somebody said, one politician said these gunmen are a necessary evil. I said, wow, what an interesting comment. Years ago, many, many years ago. So can you imagine now what the belief is? They're embraced, perhaps, with a hug and a kiss. So in the March 2024's budget, in which you should have been budgeting for the public sector workers, barring none, all other people, everything to do with the growth and development of the country, which means the growth and the development of the public sector workers. They're basically told no money is in the kitty. But yet $25 million would have been offered if people could give them information about who the killer is or who the killers are. And Lord have his mercy. One of the things that you need to understand with God, when he sees that the people are crying out too much, just like with the children of Israel, he's going to come down. He's going to set them free. and every man and woman will have their 10, 11, and 12 o'clock. So you can laugh last, because we certainly will laugh the best. Follow me on TikTok, subscribe to my YouTube.